We are finally doing it. We are finally making the complete guide that everything Epic Games needs to do to fix Fortnite. Have you been playing Fortnite and you don't really think that it really hits the same that it once was? Well, there could be a reason for that. I still personally find a lot of fun in Fortnite. I think Fortnite is better as it is right now than it used to be, but there are a lot of things that I would change. So today what we're going to be doing is making a video, and I'm going to say everything, well, every little detail about Fortnite that I can think of. I'm going to go through it all, and I'm going to tell you what I would change, what I would do if I was in charge of Fortnite Battle Royale, or just Fortnite in general, the metaverse that they're building. What would I do? This is what we're going to talk about today. Hear me out, and then I would love to hear what you guys think down below in the comment section afterwards. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get into the entire video in just a second. Before we do, I do want to say hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Let's talk about the complete guide to fixing Fortnite. Now, the only other thing I do want to say is while this isn't probable, this is, again, everything that I would do if I was in charge. This is everything that I would suggest to Epic Games, okay? I get it. Like, all of these changes are a little bit ridiculous to ask, and quite frankly, there's a lot of them that would never really happen. But again, this is what I want, okay? This is what I want to do, and we are going to start off with the seasonal trailers. When you boot up the game, the first thing that you see in a brand new season is a season trailer. So what I want is, and again, it's a lot to ask for, so brace yourselves, okay? That's what the video's about. I'm trying to make Fortnite as perfect as possible, okay? We're going to have long cutscenes, long storyline cutscenes, everything. Like, the only thing that was like really perfect at the beginning of a season launch, well, there was a lot of them that I really liked, but the one that I really stood out to me was the Zero Crisis finale, because we had a cutscene with storyline. It was new stuff. We got introduced to the Foundation. Ancient Josie was going nuts. It was like one of the most hyped things of all time, right? It was so great, and then it was followed by an event. It was followed by an event, and a live event that's solo. I would love to see events along with this, but to have this as your opening thing where just season trailer, bang storyline, live event solo, bang storyline, introduce us to the new season, introduce us to the Battle Pass skins, I think that is absolutely perfect. So another thing that I would like to see in this is a little bit of a hint of something that's to come. For example, like, they didn't do a bad job with Kato Thorn, but at the time of making this video, it's a little bit too early to say like whether or not Kato Thorn was actually perfect. Something that I actually really do like, and it's funny because it's coming from my least favorite season of Fortnite, is what they did with the Herald. They introduced the vibe in season, and while that entire story and seasonal trailer could have been way better, if for lack of better terms, it sucked when you compare it to everything else, right? But what they did at the end, they had the Herald, they zoomed out from this like little bit of perfect magic, the things that everybody loved, everybody was happy, it was the vibe in season, but then something ominous was there, something that we knew was coming, something that hinted at something like the last reality, right? The Herald was just looking at us, and that alone just had the community talking for so long. It was perfect what they did there. So I would like to see long cutscenes followed by a Zero Crisis finale event, and somewhere at the end, whether it's the cutscene or the end of the event or something like that, before we continue on to the game, I want to see a little tiny hint, something that confuses us, something that gets us talking. We're going to talk a little bit more about the storyline later on in the video, but it needs to have a payoff. Not like, oh, well, the Herald's in a tree, you know what I mean? The storyline for the Herald kind of just ended there, you know what I mean? But that's just an example of something that I would really like to see. So that'd be perfect. Give something people to talk about, give something that people get excited for, you know what I mean? And it's really nice when the whole community is speculating and talking about all that stuff, right? So that's just the beginning of Fortnite. That's just the beginning. That's the introduction to Fortnite. That's when you open up to the game, a brand new chapter. And I forgot to say at the beginning of the video, in light of chapter 5 coming at the time making this video, this is a perfect time to make this, right? They probably have everything already planned, but still, you get my point. So let's move on though. Let's move on to the lobby screens, okay? Because that's the next thing you see. Lobby screens. Chapter 2 Season 2 is the way to go. It really is. They have had a lot of really nice lobby screens, okay? Especially Chapter 1, very clean. There were some backgrounds that are really nice, but what Chapter 2 had was they had storyline secrets, they had character rooms, a unique way to view the map, they had challenges there, and just so much more stuff with there. But something that I really particularly liked about Chapter 2 Season 2 was the Battle Pass rooms, the character rooms. You could unlock them. As the season progressed, we unlocked new ones, right? And then there were like little secrets hidden in each room, and you could go into like Brutus's room, check out if anything's going on there. You can find some secret documents, not to let, like, that's even just the beginning of it, to give every single Battle Pass character their own storyline and lore behind it. was just phenomenal. It was the perfect way to do a lobby screen. Even had Deadpool's little secret room and the challenges in the middle. It's the only time that I've enjoyed doing challenges in my life. For real. Is finding Deadpool stuff hidden around the lobby. I really enjoy that. And you can go on the computer and play these little games. Like, the thought and the care that Epic Games put into that Chapter 2 Season 2 lobby was absolutely perfect, okay? Even when you were in the lobby, you could just see the development of the device. We had an idea that Midas was building a device. We had an idea that Midas was doing something with the loop, right? We had an idea that there was this device coming. You could see the cables week by week just coming into the lobby and just being in the background. They were just sitting there. That was the most care that Epic Games has ever put into a lobby, and I think Chapter 2 Season 2 is absolutely the way to go. 100%. Again, you could argue that there have been better designs, okay? You could argue that it'd be best if we had our own custom lobby backgrounds, but I think if they were to do this, this is the absolute perfect way to go about it. Chapter 2 Season 2, copy and paste the formula, maybe tweak it a little bit, you know what I mean? Just have that as your foundation. Whether you want to change it from rooms to, I don't know, islands, something like that, you know what I mean? Just give the characters something different. Give the characters their own storyline, and it took such mediocre skins, in my opinion, and made them so special. So special. Like, the edit styles were good, but like, think about it. Sky in the item shop, not a lot of people buy that. TNT in the item shop, might get some purchases. Midas would definitely, but you know what I mean? Like, there's just, they turned a battle pass into something so amazing. Really, it was really, really wonderful, but that's not the only thing about the lobby, right? You have play and discovery, okay? You have the whole discovery menu. Now, while it is improving, okay, it's something about it is just still a little bit clunky. I don't have a problem with it. It just could be better. I wish I had like an explanation on how to make that better, to be honest with you. But the only thing that I could really think of is have the Epic Games modes, the ones like Battle Royale, Zero Build, any potential LTMs that are there, things like that made by Epic Games, have that prominent at the top, very easy to find. And I get it, man. I totally get it. Epic Games wants you to scroll through creative, find a map called Grandma. Like, I just played that map. It was really fun. You know, I get it. I get the reasoning behind it. I get the reason why it's a little bit difficult to find Battle Royale sometimes. But at the same time, I don't want to log onto Fortnite and like have a little bit of a mission to go find a game mode that I want to play, right? I want to go and I want everything to be easy. And I know my library is there, but quite frankly, I don't use it. I want to click. I want easy access to Battle Royale. It's that simple. It really is. But so the reason why I'm talking about, like, I don't really have too much to really critique about the discovery menu is because I get why Epic Games is doing it, and I get that it's smart. But I believe at the time of recording this video, which is on October 10th of 2023, it's not bad. The improvements they made in Discovery have been very, very good. Now, something that I do believe that is good and doesn't need any changes because it's self-explanatory, everything's perfect about it, is the Compete tab. Perfectly fine. I love the way it's laid out. Everything is good with that. But something that I hate is the locker. There's too many buttons. Way too many buttons. What happened to the simplicity? What happened? And it just looks ugly too, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but like, why is it where if I want to search for like emotes, I have to go like all recent? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many unnecessary clicks that I have to go through to look for a certain skin. You know what I mean? It's different on PC. If I want to hop on, I can just type a little bit, right? But still, like, Locker needs to go and have like a little bit of a chapter 1 revert. If you want to like fix the lobby screen, make it more unique, make it a little bit more. Are they going for a minimalistic approach? I don't really know. They're going for like a clean approach, but in my opinion, it just doesn't work. I hate the way the locker's laid out. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It needs to go back to at least how it was in chapter 1. If you guys been watching the channel, man, if you guys have been watching the channel for a long time, you would know I am not the type of person to just go, oh, Fortnite is way better in chapter 1. I don't like anything that comes out because chapter 1 was better, you know what I mean? But there are some things that chapter 1 had perfectly, and it's something else that we are going to talk about. But while we are in the locker, guys, we need more presets. We need more presets. How many skins do you have in the game? How many battle passes have we went through? How many Fortnite Crew skins? How many skins and cosmetics have people acquired? How many combos? How many possible combos could you make? We need more than 100 presets. I need more than 100 presets. Whether you have it by a crew subscription, whether you just give everybody different amounts of presets based on the number of cosmetics that they own, whether it's individually paid for, I would do that. I would pay for more locker bundles. If you're locker bundles, it said, I would pay for more locker presets. I really would. If you added them to the Fortnite crew, I'd be a subscriber forever. The amount of presets that we have right now is just flat out not enough. It really isn't. Like think about, again, like I said, all the cosmetics that we possibly have. Now, speaking of cosmetics, makes me move on to the item shop. The good old item shop, eh? I'm having a tough time with this one because it's not necessarily a bad layout. There's just a lot of stuff in the item shop, seems a little bit clunky, and I don't want to be the guy to go back, hey, chapter 1. But the problem is, I don't have a good reason for saying this. The horizontal layout I enjoyed. I liked it way better. I don't know why. I don't know why I did. I just did. Wish I could expand upon that. But the item shop isn't bad. Like the layout how it is right now, everybody's always complaining about it. But to be honest with you, it's an item shop. It does the job. It's probably better structured the way that it is. So I wouldn't be upset if there weren't any changes. But I don't know about you guys. Comment down below if you think differently. I like it. I liked it when we had the horizontal item shop. Don't know why, but other than that, the only thing that we have left in the career is the career tab, and I don't think that really needs any changing. I don't really look at it too often. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, to be honest with you. But something that I do want to talk about is the battle pass. That is arguably the most important part of the lobby screen, right? So again, chapter 2 season 2 is ideal. The characters were great. They were storyline heavy. They had their own rooms. Everything was perfect. The best thing that they did with chapter 2 season 2 is they gave every single character their own storyline behind it, okay? It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And something that I really, really loved is the Ghost vs. Shadow thing. I hated the idea of it where at first we were paying for battle passes and they were like, what, so I can only unlock one style here? But then they had a fun game with it. They had the operation game modes. They had storyline connected to it. Whether you were Team Ghost or Team Shadow, that mattered, you know? So, and it gave a little bit more exclusivity to your skin. I don't really care about that, but I know people did. But I loved the way that they did this. If Epic Games can somehow revamp how they did that whole situation, I think it'd be perfect, man. I think it'd be absolutely perfect. But the other thing that they need to do with the battle pass, and they did with this season, they've been doing better. It's something that we're going to talk about in a little while, but they need to keep Fortnite leaks under control. Battle Pass is getting leaked ruins the entire hype for it, and I'm a guy who likes to talk about Fortnite leaks. I have notifications on for some leakers. I like Fortnite leaks. I've talked about this for a long time, but the Battle Pass skins being released just completely kills the hype. Even if you, like, let's say Epic Games made another season like Chapter 2 Season 2, right? Imagine that getting leaked. Oh, here's the storyline behind this character. Here's the complete lore of like what this character is going to be doing throughout the season. Like, that would ruin it. That would absolutely ruin it. So Epic Games needs to be really, really on it. But something else they need to be on is original emotes. They need more original emotes, and I understand. I made a whole video talking about this a little while ago. I get it that most dances are like ripped off versions of songs, so they just make them the icon emotes. But to be honest with you, it's not mostly like that. The problem is they have icon emotes. I think they should make a little bit of a good mix. I've always thought that you should have 2 battle passes. That's another idea we can explore. I think that would be really cool, but we're going to talk about that more in just a second. But there's been way too much filler in the battle pass. Whether it's just unlockable styles in the battle pass, compared to what they used to give us in Chapter 1, the skins are way lower quality. There's all these 200 V-Buck emotes that just don't really make sense. They don't really do anything. I don't like all the fill in the battle pass, and it hasn't been a very long time where I've like really went crazy about a battle pass. The overtime style has been doing a little bit more, but that's something we could talk about a little bit right when we talk about like actual regular skins. And another thing that's really important is they need to have an upgradable tier 1 skin like they used to back in Chapter 1. Now that I'm making this video, and I was kind of like, I have some like point forms of like what I want to talk about here. I didn't realize how much like Chapter 1 did get right until I started making the points for this, because the tier 1 in Chapter 1 was always absolute, like just a banger. Upgradable, one of the highest quality skins that you will ever find. I loved it. I loved it. So they need to get back to that. But when you're talking about the battle pass, Season X, they nailed the layout. They absolutely nailed the layout for the battle pass. They absolutely nailed the UI for the lobby. If it wasn't for Chapter 2 Season 2, I would say build the foundation off of Season X. But like I mentioned earlier, 2 battle passes I think would be ideal. a lot of hype with the Battle Pass right now, or a lot of criticism with the Battle Pass, is a lot of people are talking about how collabs are ruining the Battle Pass. The secret skin is no longer a secret. It's always a collaboration. Secret skins are a must. An absolute must. It's something we're going to talk about in a little bit, but I love the idea of 2 Battle Passes. We've talked about it on the channel. People in our Discord community have been talking about it, right? We've talked about having 2 Battle Passes before, but why not? This is free money for Epic Games. Have an original skin Battle Pass and a collaboration Battle Pass. Have 2 of them. It's free money for Epic. Almost everybody would buy both of them. Am I wrong? I don't think so. The only people who really wouldn't buy them are like some of those really specific people who are always like, no collabs, no collabs. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like so adamant about it. I just woke my dog up. Sorry. You good girl, Sonny. You good girl. I lost my train of thought a little bit. But, like, most people really would buy 2 Battle Passes. I don't see why Epic Games wouldn't do it. The only real criticism that you have in a Battle Pass is that the collabs are there, right? People would be very happy if the collabs weren't there. I love collabs, but I don't like them in the Battle Pass. I think they should be an item shop, but having a second Battle Pass is something that I would purchase because it's always worth your money. That's just what I would do. But something that is a little bit tied into the Battle Pass is our next section, which is the Fortnite Crew. So, originally, I hated it, but then I made a tier list video, and I don't really hate the Fortnite Crew as much. It's just the Fortnite Crew isn't worth it for me because it's almost 20 bucks Canadian because of our great Canadian dollar, right? The Canadian dollar that's so valuable to the rest of the world. I'm over here paying 20 bucks for a Fortnite subscription. That's nuts. So what I was talking about when I was originally hitting it is I was so critical about the skins. I was like, no, this sucks. Absolutely not. But then I ended up making a tier list about the ranking every single Fortnite Crew skin. And I realized there was a lot of like pretty decent ones, to be honest with you. So I'm not nearly as critical on the Fortnite Crew that I have been in the past, especially when it comes to the crew packs. This one that they're doing right now is really cool. The one where it takes 6 months to upgrade the style. I think it's a little bit like much to have 6 months to unlock one particular skin, but hey, you know what? It's something added to the crew. I like that they're always playing around with it. It's very nice to see. But another thing that I really liked is the first shadow set. They never did anything like this again, where they released a trailer that was exclusive to crew members, but at the same time, it just got leaked out. But it was still really cool. Like, you had the first shadow set. You had, if you were a subscriber for every single month, you get an extra style for all of them. There was storyline. They tied it into Midas. It's not that difficult to make us happy in that sense. You know what I mean? I really liked when they did that. It was very interesting. The skins were very clean. It was spooky, fit the Halloween theme. I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it. Something else that they could do with the Fortnite Crew is every single time there's a month with like some sort of holiday in it, like November, December, make it Christmas theme. January, you can make it winter theme. February, make a love skin. March, make a green skin. You know, you could do all of that stuff and people get a little bit more hyped up for the Fortnite Crew. I absolutely love like skins around a theme. And something about the Fortnite Crew that is I've been struggling with though is they need one more perk. I don't know necessarily what it could be. Like, I float around the idea of locker presets. You could have XP boost, maybe custom games eligibility, like things like that. I feel like for the Fortnite Crew, maybe it's just because of me. Maybe it's just because I'm over here paying $20. I want one more perk with it. Just one more. I understand we're already getting like a decent amount of stuff. You get the Battle Pass, 900 V-Bucks, 1,000 V-Bucks every month. So there's a lot that does come with it, and it could be worth your money, especially if you like the skin, right? But for me personally, I would like to see one more perk added. Something like I just mentioned. But something that they have floated around and they've been doing a little bit is monthly bonuses, whether it's a loading screen, music pack. That's been very nice. Now, I've seen this idea floating around recently where someone, I don't know where it first came out, but the idea has been floating around where instead of the crew pack that is coming out this month, if you're a subscriber, perhaps you could trade in that skin that will be coming out this month and then you could pick from any other past crew skin, because we know these are not necessarily like completely exclusive, right? So that'd be something really cool. If somebody subscribed to the crew and just wants like Southpaw, for example, they could go back and get that one instead of getting this month's skin. I think that would be a huge plus. I think the Fortnite Crew or Epic Games should absolutely do that for the Fortnite Crew. So the Fortnite Crew is good. There's just some things that I would tweak about it. But guys, let's move on now. Let's move on to arguably the most important part of Fortnite, and that being the map. So if you've been following the channel, you would know this opinion of mine. The greatest map we have ever had was in Season X. Take Season X, tone it down a little bit, get rid of any gimmicks in ranked. You have the perfect map. You have the perfect game. Season X with all of the gimmicks were fantastic. I thought it brought a new life to the map. I thought it brought new and fun, interesting gameplay to the map. It changed every week. I love Season X. I love the map. and I was an OG lover of Season X, and I am proud to say so. Not like all you fake Season X fans that were hating on it back in the day. I was over here absolutely loving it. I wish I was making videos at that time, man, because I'd be defending it so hard. But there are a few other maps that I wrote down in my points on the screen here that are in particular I thought stood out as really great maps, and that being Chapter 1 Season 8, Chapter 2 Season 2, Chapter 2 Season 3, Chapter 2 Season 4, Chapter 2 Season 5, Chapter 3 Season 1, and in my opinion, Chapter 4 Season 4, the map that we have right now. I absolutely loved all of those maps. I thought they were great. There were a lot of really good maps that Epic had, but those maps really stood up. So the best type of map, it really needs diversity, elevation, beauty, and like you need a different reason to land in each spot, and that's why I really loved Season X's map. But we could talk about like these other maps for a second, like Chapter 1 Season 8, for example. You had the different elevation, you had the volcano, you had the winter biome, you had the different biomes, you had the different POIs. It was great. But Chapter 2 Season 2, there were gimmicks everywhere, which was really cool. You could talk about the same thing with Season X, the map for Season X with the gimmicks everywhere. Like I already mentioned, it just made for a specific and unique gameplay. Going back to Chapter 2 Season 2, got off topic a little bit there, but each POI in the corner had its own gimmick, had its own mythic. There was a reason to land there. It was beautiful. It was perfect. The bosses were there. The storyline was being told. Chapter 2 Season 3, do I need to say anything about it? It was a flood that each week it went down, revealing more and more destruction throughout the map from the flood. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. Chapter 2 Season 4, you added the Marvel POIs. The Stark Industries biome, that was one of the greatest map changes to ever grace Fortnite. It was perfect. It was perfect, whether you had the upgrade to Pleasant Park, whether you had the random Thor hammer drops on the map. I loved, in Chapter 2 Season 4, having that giant piece of land just come out of there. It was perfect. It made for a different tone with the battles. Like, you remember having fights where somebody was like on top of that thing, you were right at the bottom? Absolutely fantastic. Chapter Season 5, 0 point on the map, jumping at Rift, sand tunneling, different gimmick. You had a POI that you couldn't really break out, could also Coliseum. It was great. You had 0 shards all over the map, the butter barn. It was unique. It was live. It was perfect. Chapter 3 Season 1. Brand new map, the perfect way to bring a brand new map. That was also great. It had great POIs like that Daily Bugle, Camp Cuddle, lots of diversity on the map, lots of different elevations, something I loved. Chapter 3 Season 1 does not get nearly enough love that it deserves. But the other map that I thought was really good is actually the map that we have right now in Chapter 4 Season 4. The different terrain. I love the jungle biome. I absolutely love the jungle biome. We have the snow biome, we have grass biome, we have like the medieval biome. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Every POI feels different. The way that this map evolved was how a map really should evolve. But the most important part of each map is a map also needs a gimmick, and Season X did that perfectly. And they need map updates like Season X, or if you want to talk about Chapter 2 Season 2, that you can tell the story with your updates, but we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. Season X, we had a new POI each week with a gimmick. A big change to the gameplay with a big change to the map. It was perfect. Absolutely perfect. There are a couple other things that I really missed about like that I had on a Fortnite map though. And first of all, and I don't see anybody talking about this, I miss having some instant death on the map. Like, don't get me wrong, water and swimming, that was perfect to add for Chapter 2. That was the perfect thing to add to Fortnite. It was something that really Fortnite needed, and I would never trade swimming away. But I loved at the edge of the map where you could just, if you fell off, if you had a fight, if you had impulses, if you got knocked by a car or something, you would just die. And then you couldn't play for the rest of the game. Like, there was no reboot cards. I loved that. I always thought, and I made a couple map concepts talking about this, I always thought it'd be absolutely fantastic if there was an instant death POI. I called it the depths, where it's just a bottomless pit. Imagine the build fights you could have down there. You build all the way down there. You have to rotate your ramps and stuff. You can have build fights down there. It's super risky, but it is just so cool. So if somebody third parties you, you're absolutely done. But imagine the fights you could have there, the jumping, the saving. A bottomless pit would be perfect. You lose your reboot card, it's gone. It's all the way at the bottom of the pit. You get sucked in, black hole, whatever it is. To have an instant death POI like that is something that I would absolutely love to see in Fortnite. Something that nobody's talking about, man. But it's not even just that. I would love it if they just, like, on the edge of the map, have the edge of the map be like, you fall off of it or something. I would love to have something like that again. And just like, my friends and I had so much fun trolling each other with that. But it's not just because of that. It added a uniqueness to the gameplay. How accomplished we felt when we used the ATV and knocked somebody off the side of Snobby Shores, right? We knew somebody was looting in there, drive it through, bang, shoot them off, and then they would just go in the water. No hope for the reboot card whatsoever. I thought that was really fun. So to have instant death again would be really cool, in my opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think about that down below, because quite frankly, it's something that nobody talks about. But there are a couple other things, like when it comes to a Fortnite map, that I really like. There are places like in Chapter 1, like the soccer field, the soccer stadium, where there's just a soccer ball and some nets, and you could actually play around with it, right? You could go in there and just have soccer games, and then some other squads would come in. Sometimes they just ambush you and kill you, and they'd be like horrible like that. But there would be other times where you'd legitimately play soccer with people, which would be perfect for proximity chat, by the way. More on that later. But stuff like that is what really made Fortnite feel like Fortnite. They put like basketball nets everywhere. And you remember when Lazy Links first came out? Everybody got a golf ball in the battle pass, and you could play golf. You could actually go down in Fortnite in a battle royale game and just play golf on the green. You know how many times I've done that? It was so much fun. But another thing that, like the depths I was talking about, like an instant death POI, this is a little bit more in the talks, and I'm sure we'll see it into Fortnite at one point. But I would really, really like to see a bus or railway system, whether it's underground, whether it's something that's moving, whether it's just like a track and a train with some cars. I think that'd be great. You want to sit on the moving train the whole time? You missed the train for the storm or something like that? Just imagine all the possibilities of like one singular moving train with like 6 carts on it. You could like have the fight and close the doors and have the fight like actually on the train. You could have it above the train. You could shoot people like that. You could third party people from the train while it's moving. You just start shooting some people, or the train's going. You put some builds there. Maybe it stops the train. I don't know. Maybe you could have like a new mechanic where you tie people with a rope to the train track and just leave them there, and their teammates need to save them, or you need to like take so much time to wiggle out of it, and then the train would just run you over, or a bus. I don't care. Whatever it is, something like this would make Fortnite so much fun. I would love to play that. I would really, really love to play something like that. So there is one more thing when it comes to maps that I would like to talk about. I need you to hear me out, okay? I don't mind the idea of 2 maps, but for something like really, really specific. Okay, just hear me out. So originally, my idea for 2 maps was just to like, okay, let's be able to play on each map with like a coin flip, right? But the island would flip, and then you could just play on another map. We've seen it flip before. You could just have something like that. But as much as the things that I'm going to talk about in this video, that's absolutely ridiculous to expect from Epic, though, to like continuously update 2 maps. So what I thought would be fun is to, let's say, and this is just a number off the top of my head, right? 1 in 500. A 1 in 500 chance of playing on some random old map with no changes. You could just get rifted into the past for some game, which could work perfectly right now with a time machine or something like that. But something with a loop could go wrong. You get rifted into the past, and it'd be like such an amazing experience, because more people would actually like try to play Fortnite, because it's like, oh, okay, this season was, you know what, it's Chapter 5 Season 1 right now. We're going to bring back the Chapter 2 Season 3 map. Every 1 in 500 games, people will be able to play on that map, just without changes. How fun would that be? People would constantly play Fortnite. People would be constantly coming back to try and experience that, especially if you want to talk about bringing the OG map. Just like have a little bit of a cutscene at the beginning, and then just like your character just goes into the rift, and then all of a sudden he's there, and it's like, whoa, what's going on? Some people would never, ever experience it, and that's the fun of it. People actually getting in, the hype that would come from it, you know? I think that'd be great. I think that'd be really, really cool, and it's like the perfect alternative to something where if we can't remake maps in Creative 2.0, right? If they're really, really sticking to their guns with that rule, I think that'd be great. I really do. I think it'd just be a really, really fun thing to play around with. But it's not just the map that I want to talk about. It's like specifically diving into map changes, and I'll point you back again to Chapter 1 Season X. It was perfect. Every single week, we had an update with a brand new POI, new mechanics, and even weapons behind it. The map changes that season were absolutely perfect. The map changes were part of the storyline. They brought a new gimmick, returned something old, or added something new. They were perfect, man. But when it comes to a brand new season, we need like significant changes, and something that like I really, really want to point out to is either Chapter 4 Season 3 with the jungle biome, or Chapter 2 Season 5. They are perfect examples of this. The biomes are incredible. They are POIs like we've never seen before. It's different. It's unique. They brought sand tunneling. They brought gimmicks along with it. You brought the mud. You know what I mean? They brought all this type of stuff. So these are like map changes for a brand new season that would really, really like to see. But another thing that is an absolute must is the mid-season updates. I don't know what happened at Epic Games. They're just doing the mini battle pass. And don't get me wrong, they're great updates. But we need map updates, mid-season map updates. We need something like the Stark Industries update. That was perfect. Enough said. Mid-season updates to that size. Absolutely perfect. And I understand it meant that we had a little bit, I don't want to say lackluster, but for map changes specifically, we were a little bit lackluster for a season launch. We got that a little bit later into the season. It was probably like even planned to come out at the beginning of the season, but it just wasn't ready or something like that. But regardless, like, we need mid-season updates like that. It doesn't even have to be that big. Just something like that. Just build on that. Get a good idea of like the type of stuff that you brought and just do something kind of the same. The mid-season updates really bring people back into Fortnite and really keep them playing. But the last thing when it comes to map changes is, and it's very small, but in my opinion, it's very important. With something, again, to get the community talking. I don't know who the developers were that did this, but they were perfect. They were fantastic. I loved them for what they did. Remember things like the little teddy bear every week just getting bigger, or in chapter 1 you had that house with all the couches and there were just more couches being piled in there. You had the stories with like the rock lovers, you had the stories with the coral buddies, they were building stuff, you know what I mean? Little things like that really brought life to Fortnite. PlayStation Grenade had Hut Watch. There was a little bit of a hut on chapter 1 map where it just got this little house, had a little bit more pallets brought to it every week, and it was just built. That must take no coding time, that must take no development time. That's something that was almost like a must for a Fortnite map, in my opinion. The way they handled that, the way they handled those updates were perfect. They were peak. They were amazing. I loved what they did there. The developers who did that, oh my God. I love it, man. I love what they used to do with that. So we need to really get back to that. But enough with the map, enough with the map changes. Let's talk about the loot pool. Whew, okay. You guys are going to disagree with me on this one. I already know it. But if I was in charge, man, I think I know. So another thing I need to keep in mind is, did I just mention this? Doesn't really matter. We're talking about pubs specifically. We're going to get into ranked soon. They're going to be completely separate. I'm talking just about the pubs loot pool. I believe every single gun should be in the game. Every single item, every single weapon. Only add to it, never take away. The only exception for adding and subtracting from the map and the weapons in the loot pool is mythics and collabs. That's the only exceptions, understandably so. Exotics and NPCs, they should also all be unvaulted. Mythics need to be the way they are right now or the way they were in chapter 2. I don't want a mythic Havoc AR. I want one of each mythic, and I want them to be insanely powerful. They're doing a great job with the season that I'm recording this in, which is chapter 4, season 4. Chapter 2, Season 2 did it perfectly. Chapter 3, Season 3 did it perfectly. They had these absolutely busted mythic weapons that when you saw somebody, you were scared of them. That brings a new element to the gameplay that is just perfect in a game that you want to play. I loved it. I love the way it was handled. I like the way they're doing it now with the vaults and everything. That's great, okay? But if it was up to me, bring it back to Chapter 2, Season 2, Season 3. They did it perfectly. Perfectly, okay? Now, another thing that I do love when you're talking about mythic weapons is the collab weapons. I think they're amazing, but in my opinion, it's just a little bit of a nitpick. I think they should be reduced to their own rarity. Not reduced, like they should just be changed. Have like a collab rarity. I think like the mythics, the really powerful mythics, things like the TNTina's Kambumbo, Kit's Shockwave Launcher. Keep them Fortnite exclusive. They're mythic weapons, you know? Have like, I don't know what you even call them. Collab? Guest weapon? I don't know. Something like that, but last thing about the loot pool right now is we need more traps. Why haven't we got more traps? The fire trap was amazing. The poison dart trap was amazing. The spike trap was amazing. Every single time Epic Games has added a trap, I loved it. Don't get me started on the armored walls. Even if you disagree with me about this, if I can't get my way and I can't have everything unvaulted, the armored walls are a must. I think they should be a staple in Fortnite. They should remain in the game forever. They were perfect, perfectly balanced. They added fun to the game. They were very versatile. You could use them however you want. I loved it. Loved armored walls. They need to stay in the game. But going back to what I was saying, I want to justify my point a little bit when I'm talking about keeping everything unvaulted. Why do people get burnt out of the game? It's a little bit with a combination of like they play too much and stuff like that, but one of the things like you legitimately get bored of is having games feel the same. This would be a way for every game to feel different. You could play with different items. You could hunt for different items if you really wanted to. You didn't, and the most important part is no fight would feel the same. Like right now, you could assume that somebody has a shark tooth shotgun or an infiltrator pump. One of those two with an SMG behind it. Safe to assume every fight is kind of the same in that sense. What this would do is you would never know what somebody would have. Maybe they'd have a Dragon's Breath shotgun. Maybe you need to worry about fire. Maybe you can't box up. Oh, that's not good, right? Or they could have a poison dart trap where it's like, okay, and now I got to worry that they place this thing down from a little while away. Maybe they have a combat shotgun, so you're going to want to get up close to them. Maybe, just maybe, they'll have Sky's Scar and you need to run away. You know, like the amount of different things that you could use, like maybe somebody has impulse grenades. So if you're building up too high, if you're getting up on the mountain, they can deal fall damage to you. You get my point. The uncertainty that it brings to the game, and it will diversify the fights completely. It'll make every fight feel fresh. It'll make it feel amazing. I believe they should all be unvaulted. Every weapon. Some weapons that are a little bit not fan favorites, we can like reduce them into crafting or something. Like I'm sure Epic Games could really like take a look at how many weapons people are picking up, but there's going to be a little bit more on that because I do want to talk about crafting in another part of the video. But for now, I want to talk about vehicles. Vehicles are really tough to get correctly, so I would also love to hear your input in the comments down below. So other things like cars, shopping carts, and choppas, I'd say like those are pretty much a no-brainers to be in, especially shopping carts, especially cars. Choppas, yeah, I feel like choppa's a no-brainer to keep in, but if it were up to me, again, it's really tough to get vehicles correctly, but I think there should just be a couple of every vehicle just to add to it. Like tanks are fun, the armor battle bus, or even just one tank on the map. Like what could that hurt? One plane on the map, what could that hurt? But limit it to like a few things so people don't get overwhelmed. Like I don't think this would have the same effect if you unvaulted every single vehicle than you would with every single weapon. A lot of vehicles, like having tanks everywhere, having like helicopters everywhere, just that would be overwhelming. Having UFOs everywhere, right? People wouldn't like that, obviously, but I don't think it could hurt to have like one or two of each, maybe in a set spawn point, something along those lines. So I don't really have a strong stance on vehicles, but like I said, those are really tough to get right. So I would say like this all kind of comes into the loophole. So I've said enough about the loophole. Let's talk about the Fortnite gameplay though. Let's talk about the actual gameplay, like the whole series behind it. You know what I mean? So with these maps that I have suggested, there would already be nice gimmicks around the map, and that would really add to the gameplay. So there would always be something new. There would always be something exciting. So that, along with every single weapon being unvaulted, would just be perfect. I think it would make for an amazing gameplay experience. Now, something that usually I'm like, I'm not going to talk about this because we've talked about it so many times on the channel, but I'm going to talk about it because this is the complete guide to fixing everything in Fortnite. The Chapter 2 Season 7 Mothership was one of the greatest things Epic Games has ever added to the game. To have a mini game, and there was storyline behind it, that's even a bonus, but it doesn't even have to. You had a mini game. For so long, Epic Games had an issue about people dying, and there being like a little bit of a lull in the action, right? They fixed that in Chapter 2 Season 7. They fixed it. They had the UFO capture you like a minute or so into the game, which was fun in itself because that way you couldn't grab people's reboot cards. Like you had to make sure your team was alive, right? You had to make sure like everybody was okay. And there were like scenarios where I was down, I was crawling away from people. I was like, guys, save me. Oh, the UFO's coming. Just live for like 5 seconds, you know? Like we had stuff like that, and that was fun in general, but to have everybody play a little mini game and there be a reward for the actual Battle Royale gameplay, that along with the scenery, along with the storyline, which doesn't even need to be said, it fixed that. You were occupied, and then by the time you're back in the game has continued on a little bit, and that solved that problem. It solved the problem of there being like a lull in the middle of the game. So I think Epic Games nailed it with the Mothership. They need to just do more like that. Just have some sort of mini game. It's gonna be real hard to beat that one. I don't have any ideas off the top of my head, but that what they did with Chapter 2 Season 7 solved a lot of the Fortnite gameplay. Another thing that we need though when it comes to the gameplay is we need more map features. Things like the sand tunneling. Things like the snowballs when you're chopping down in the snow. We need like more interactivity with the map, like chopping down trees. That was a great update in Chapter 3 where you can knock down trees and the big log could kill somebody, right? Stuff like that. We need more stuff like that. Sand tunneling was great, and we need them to not be disabled. Another thing that was absolutely perfect was Colombo. I loved Colombo. I always loved the idea of like, and I was hoping for this when the idea of a Primal season came out, is like having a giant dinosaur on the map that you had to run from, and it was so scary, right? Colombo was perfect. Colombo was cute. You could shoot Colombo, make Colombo angry. You could use him for rotation. You could feed him berries. Long story short, Colombo was great. We needed their Colombo back. We need something giant roaming the map. Something scary, something you want to get away from, right? Something you don't want to piss off. I loved Colombo, and I will never forgive whoever ended up killing Colombo. It's not coming up to the top of my head, but you get the point. But anyways, Something else that I would like to see with the gameplay is I'd like to add, I think it's been long enough, I'd like to see another build material being added. I really would, and that would fix the 999 issue, right? If you add another build, then you could have another 500 of something, which would be really cool. But other than that, I'd keep it at 999. Right now it's at 500. I liked it when it was at 999, but keep it at 500 if you do add another build. I remember the old idea that was being floated around, like, back in Chapter 1 was, I think people were even leaking it, right? Like, making up fake leaks, was plastic. That's the only thing I could come up with at the top of my head, but I'm sure Epic Games could come in and, like, make a brand new build material. I think it's been long enough. I think it'd be really cool, right? But another thing is, and I don't have an idea off the top of my head, is something that still needs to continue coming is more features like sprinting and mantling, or tactical sprinting, I mean. That's great. Keep that going, right? We love to see tactical sprinting, but another thing when it comes to the gameplay is it has been just suggested to change the storm. I think it should stay as it is. I think that's an if it's not broken, don't fix it type thing. LTMs playing around with the storm would be really fun in my opinion. I think that would be perfect if you wanted to mess around with the storm, and maybe if it's a raging success, maybe implement. But for now, I'd leave the storm as is, to be honest with you. But it is important to, when it comes to the gameplay for the storm, it's important for it to not just be in the center of the map. The storm kind of needs to go everywhere. And there's been updates where Epic Games has fixed this, and there's been updates where Epic Games just continuously leaves the storm in the middle of the map. I'd hate that. I want to play on the Fortnite map. I don't want to play in the middle. I don't want to play in the agency. I don't want to play with whatever's in the center of the map. I want the storm to be in the far corners again. What happened to that? Even if you want to lower the percentage of it, I'm okay with that. But, like, why wouldn't you want us to play on your map? Experience the new POIs that you constantly worked on, you know what I mean? So, I think it's very important for the storm, but another thing that I forgot that I wrote down on my screen right here, again, I'm going to have bullet points on my screen, is reboot vans need to be drivable. How funny would that be? Take the reboot van with you if you want to have it with your team the whole game, or if you want to steal it from somebody else. Like, imagine sitting there, rezzing your teammates, somebody hops in, just takes off, and the reboot van just drives away. I think that would make for some hilarious moments. I think that it was a long time coming. Remember, people wanted the reboot vans to be drivable. I think that'd be great. I think it'd be a very, very nice change. But something that was great but isn't now is upgrade benches. They cost too much gold. It was a great feature. I loved upgrade benches, right? I used them all the time, especially when it was mats. But they're too expensive. Does anybody use the upgrade benches? I don't. I'm legitimately asking. I don't know if people use them, because I think they're absolutely crazy. But the gold system is perfect. Don't change that at all. The augments need a little bit of work. They've been doing better as Chapter 4 has continued on, but like, they need to add more augments like we saw in Chapter 4 Season 1. Those were perfect. There were a lot of augments. There were a lot of useful augments, because I find myself constantly rerolling, and that's not good when it comes to augments. But arguably, one of the most important things, actually, I'm going to mention that last when it comes to the gameplay. The old vending machines, too. I don't like the new vending machines. I liked it when it was vending machines. You could pick from 3 items, 3 random items, give me it, done, right? The old vending machines were great, but something that broke my heart is in Chapter 3, Season 2. I have waited since the beginning of Fortnite, or since at least it was teased to us in Chapter Season 1, for Epic Games to legitimately add weather to the game. Tornadoes were some of the most fun I've ever had in the game. Tornadoes blasting through a POI, using them for rotation, throwing dead bodies into the tornadoes, seeing the things that were floating around in there, driving cars into the tornadoes. That was just one thing. The thunderstorms coming in and randomly zapping people, lighting builds on fire. You couldn't have any wood. That was perfect. I have waited for Epic Games to bring in weather to the game for so long, and they just never did. The tornadoes were done perfectly. The lightning storms were done perfectly. Where did that go? Why don't you have any weather anymore, Epic Games? That was something that I've been waiting to see in Fortnite forever. You want to rewind all the way back to Chapter 2, Season 1? I loved playing in the blizzards. That was so much fun. That was some of the most fun I've ever had playing Fortnite, where if you got closer to the eye of the blizzard, you couldn't see anything. And if you were fighting somebody that made for such different changes, again, diversifying the fights. And if you backed up a little bit, if you got out of the way, then you could see more of it. Blizzards were perfect. The tornadoes were perfect. The lightning storms were perfect. Why don't we have any weather? You could have sandstorms in a sand biome. I don't care. Give us tornadoes again. Even if it's just that, give us some weather. Weather is made for Fortnite. Weather would be a perfect mechanic to add to this game, and it's already been proven that it would be perfect add to the game. Now guys, let's move on to another part. Let's talk about crafting, something that I touched on just a little bit earlier. So crafting needs to return. I thought crafting was great, but not how it was in the beginning. How it was in Chapter 2 Season 8, because one of the common criticisms of Chapter 2 Season 6 was the awful idea of crafting and how, like, horrible it was to just get a hold of. Like, I completely agree with that. That was something that was horrible, along with the makeshift weapons. I hated the crafting and how it was done when it came out in Chapter 2 Season 6. With the nuts and bolts in Chapter 2 Season 8, it was perfect. You could just have some nuts and bolts, you could change a gun. This is especially nice if you have everything unvaulted like you would in Fortnite X Clen. You would have every gun unvaulted. That way, Epic Games could, like, get a gauge of, like, guns that people aren't necessarily using as much, just to take it, for example, like a heavy AR, right? Take that out of the loophole, make it only craftable, but still accessible for the people who do want to use it, and that would still mean that you could diversify some fights. I think that'd be perfect. And it would be, like, a good way to keep ARs and shotguns and SMGs like that too, like at least a little bit of a minimum. Like they could just take out the guns that, like I said, people aren't really using as much right there. So take some of those, make them craftable again, and either introduce that or introduce weapon attachments. I think that'd be great. But other than that, there's not too much I have to say about crafting. I like the mechanic. I like the mechanic with nuts and bolts. If you want to add like one more thing to it to like make attachments, right, you could pick up like a red dot sight or something. I don't really see a problem with that, but crafting in Chapter 2 Season 8 was perfect. I think it's great. But something that's not perfect and something that I'm angry about, very, very upset about, and it actively ruins my Fortnite experience is fishing. What happened? What happened? There is no reason to not have every fish unvaulted. I get, look, guys, I get the argument, okay? I completely get the argument where if you don't want every gun unvaulted, okay? That's what I would do, but I get it. There's no reason to not have every fish. None. I want a reason. Can somebody tell me, like, does anybody agree that you shouldn't have it? Something that we should have, made a whole video talking about this, is the mythic goldfish. Why isn't that a thing? I literally spent every single game of Fortnite I played fishing to catch that mythic goldfish. I wanted that 1 in a million chance. I thought it was an amazing thing you could add to the game. To have something like that where you catch it, you post it online, and like the community comes together and is like, wow, you caught a mythic goldfish. You got something that was like a 1 in a million chance. I thought that was an awesome idea, and I spent so much time trying to catch that mythic goldfish, man. Why is that unvaulted? Put it back in the game. That is a must. That is an absolute must. I miss it. I wanted to catch it so bad. It was to the point where the Floor is Lava game mode came out with the mythic goldfish. I refused to use it because I was on a mission to catch the mythic goldfish naturally in a battle royale game. I couldn't believe it, man. I couldn't believe it when I found out they took it out. But why not have every other fish? It doesn't make me want to fish when all I can catch is floppers, thermal fish, and shield fish. Why not have the shadow flopper? Have a new gimmick to the game. Why not have a rift fish? You don't want rift that goes in the game? Rift fish. Like, that's perfect. It doesn't clunk up the loot pool at all. And if you want to get something unique to play with, go fishing. Bring back the collection book. What happened to that too? I loved the collection book. I thought that was a fantastic way, and you keep adding more fish with more gimmicks. Fishing is ridiculous right now. Where'd the pro rod go? Where'd the harpoon gun go? And let alone the harpoon gun was just fun to use anyways. You build up high, or you're on a mountain or something, you just get somebody up in the air, kill them with fall damage. It was a blast. It was an absolute blast to play with, man. I don't know what happened to all that, but fishing needs a complete rework. But something that, in my opinion, also does need a rework is something that I mentioned we were going to talk about a little while ago, and that being ranked in arena. So competitive does need a rework, but in my opinion, it's good. I loved late game arena. If you want to bring that back, I thought that was great. I loved playing late game arena. That would keep a bunch of, and I hate using the term, guys, but I'm going to use it, sweats. That would keep the sweats out of pubs. Have them play late game arena. Everybody would love it. Everybody's happy, right? That's okay with that. Have good and exclusive competitive awards. Also, incentivizing people to play ranked mode. Have like really, really clean looking skins. Give something like something to grind for these players. If you want them out of pubs, right? If you want to have your own casual Fortnite experience, get them out of there. Let them have their skins. I'm okay with that. Like, I don't see the big deal about it. If you win anyways, I think that'd be really cool. You know what I mean? But the other thing that I would really like for ranked specifically, and if there's any ranked players out there, please let me know. Like, this is something that will really make me play ranked a little bit more. So if you disagree with this, please let me know down below. This is just my idea. This is just fixing Fortnite and Clen's world right. Augments and loadouts could be pre-selected like Call of Duty with some augments being disabled, of course, like the balloons, stuff like that competitive players wouldn't use. I think that'd be really cool if like you're trying to make this as a little bit of luck as possible, right? But I think that'd be really cool to just have like a complete preset of like set augments that come into the game with, set guns that come in the game with. I think that'd be fun. Just pick your landing spot, get some a little bit extra loot, right? Or just like have one gun to start off with. I think that'd be really cool. I think that would make for a really fun ranked experience, to be honest with you. Give everybody like a little bit of a chance, because what if one guy keeps opening a chest and there's like 3 medkits, he can't find a gun, right? Then he's absolutely screwed, especially if like there's money on the line or something along those lines, right? So other than that, like the battle royale game would just commence like how it usually does. There's chests, they'd be at 100% spawn rate, so you'd have like your own little routine if you want. Most vehicles will be disabled, and any in-game event will also be disabled if they add something like the mothership, anything along those lines. Point is, the game would be bland but competitive. Any like fun thing that Epic Games adds, like I said, I would have a map kind of like Season X with gimmicks. Take them away. They're fine. Just make ranked and arena as boring as possible. And I mean boring in the best way possible. I really do, because I would enjoy playing this. I love playing late game arena. I love playing that highly competitive mode with like no gimmicks behind it. Don't get me wrong, I love gimmicks, but still, like I think that would be the best way to approach arena. Make it the least amount of RNG as possible. But if you want to talk about the loot pool for ranked, here we go. I wrote it down, actually. I wrote it down exactly what I want, okay? The ARs: pulse rifle, assault rifle, tactical assault rifle, red eye assault rifle. Shotguns: double barrel, striker pump, havoc, and ranger. Very diversified. You could use whatever type of playstyle that you like, and this is what I was going for with kind of every single weapon in here. You could have like you could use your own strategy with these weapons: rapid fire SMG, submachine gun, suppressed pistol, tactical pistol, revolver, flintlock, hunting rifle, suppressed sniper, one mechanical bow, grenades, clingers, proximity mines, firefly jar, wasp jars, portafort, shockwave grenades, impulse grenades, shield bubble, shadow bombs, armored walls, bouncers, traps, and launch pads, minis, big shields, slurp juice, pizza, guzzle juice, and bend mist. I think that's a pretty good competitive loot pool, to be honest with you. I think all of those are fair, and the only thing that I could argue, I could see them wanting to get rid of grenades, clingers, and proximity mines, but I think that they add an element of strategy to it. I do. And oh, grenades need to do 100 damage again. That's ridiculous. I should have talked about that a little while ago, but I think this whole set idea for a loot pool will be perfect. You want to talk about the shotgun specifically? Double barrel, if you want up really close, if you want to have like your really hard, like as close to 200 as possible shot, you could have the havoc. If you want to ping people from really far away, you could have the red eye. If you want a sniper hunting rifle, there's something for every competitive player to use here. And in my opinion, these are all fair. These are all fair items, but again, I'm not necessarily a competitive player. I'm a casual competitive player, if that makes sense. So I enjoy the competitive aspects of this game, but I don't like, my life doesn't depend on it or something like that. I'm not making money from this, and I understand, like, I don't say that insultingly. Like, people's lives really do depend on this, because people really dedicate themselves to this. So I would love some criticism, healthy criticism, of course, on the idea of a ranked loot pool and everything that I talked about when it came to ranked. But a little bit branching off of ranked is World Cups. I think the World Cups need to be like they were in Chapter 1 Season 9 again. Have a giant event. Make it a big spectacle. Did you remember, like, loading into a game of Fortnite back in Chapter 1 Season 9? You could watch the World Cup live in the corner of your screen. I thought that was so cool. Why not do that again? Copy and paste it. Have another event. Booga was, like, the star of the century with that. I thought it was incredible, everything that they did, whether it was the commentary, whether it was the streams, watching it in Fortnite. I thought it was completely great. I loved everything about the World Cup. They need to continue that. And even if you want, have more events like that. But talking about events, we move on to the next section of this video. That being LTMs. Made a whole video talking about this. They should always be in the game. At least one LTM. Make new LTMs and make limited time ones every season to make it memorable. An example of this would be the Operation game modes back in Chapter 2 Season 2, a season which Epic Games did absolutely perfectly. Those are the LTMs you don't have to bring back, although I thought it was great. One of the reasons we remember Chapter 2 Season 2 so fondly is the knockout mode. One of the reasons why we remember Chapter 2 Season 4 so fondly is the Marvel mode. All the different mythics that you could have. But have rotations for LTMs every week. Why is that not a thing? I don't understand, and I get Epic Games wants us to play creative. I get Epic Games wants us to try out new maps. I get that Epic Games has a goal of people recreating LTMs for us, but they don't hit the same. I want to play on the Fortnite map. I want to play the Battle Royale map, and I want to play Blitz. I want to play Steady Storm, Floor is Lava, Air Royale. You have all of these LTMs that infinitely make the game more fun. They take, like, guys, when Floor is Lava used to come out in Chapter 1, because I don't even know, like, it was forever when it came out, right? It never came out. When it came out, I would be at work, like somebody would text me, but hey, Floor is Lava's on. We will be online that night playing Floor is Lava for hours because we knew it was only going to be there for a couple days. Have that again. Rotate the LTMs. What do you have, like 50, 60 of them? Something like that? Have them for a few days and rotate them out. You could play the LTM that you want to play every month. Bodyguard was some of the most fun I've ever had playing in Fortnite. LTMs need to be in the game. It does not hurt creative. It does not hurt creative to have one LTM in, and not solid gold. An actual LTM, ground game, Steady Storm, more things we're going to talk. We're going to talk about a couple more modes in particular, permanent modes, not LTM modes, but LTMs should forever be in the game. It does not hurt creative at all to have LTMs in the game. I don't know why they're gone, and I miss them. I really do miss them. It's just something that added so much to Fortnite, but there are LTMs that I would like to see permanently added to Fortnite. One of them being Horde Rush, but not the Horde Rush that you're used to seeing. I think Horde Rush had incredible potential. So think of it like as a Horde Rush 2.0 type thing, right? Horde Rush, think about it like a transit mode, and we have a little visitor. Hello. Hi, come here. Oh, you want to come on camera? You want to come on camera? Hi. Oh, hello. Hello, look how big she's getting. Look how big she's getting. She just woke up from her nap. Oh, you want to say something about LTMs? Oh, don't lick my face. I'm recording right now. Do you want to say something about LTMs? No, she just got my mic wet. What are you doing? Sonny, what do you think about Horde Rush? Did you ever play that mode? Did you like Horde Rush? She's so sleepy right now. She's so sleepy. Oh, you good girl, eh? Okay, baby. I always thought Fortnite would benefit massively from a transit mode, like BO2 style transit mode, or yeah, to like have a bus run around and have it instantly. Like, I don't want to play Horde Rush when it ends in 3 rounds. I don't know about you guys, but it's just not for me. It feels the same. It's boring. Have an endless thing. Have it like rounds. Just copy and paste transit, man. Take us to all the different POIs. Make them darker. Have zombies get more and more crazy as the time goes on with all the weapons that Fortnite has. Reboot vans bring them back too. You could have perks. You could have augments added. I love playing transit zombies. One of my favorite games of all time. Fortnite can copy and paste that. They could make it better. They could make it better. Really. If you want to go that far, have a Call of Duty collaboration. Horde Rush should be like transit mode, and I believe that should be a permanent mode in Fortnite. You could always come on, just like take that whole market away from Call of Duty. Anybody wants to come play zombies? Hey, we can do it better. We can do it better. Just like Impostors. Impostors should forever be a permanent mode in Fortnite, along with proximity chat. And proximity chat is something that I'm going to explore at another point very, very soon, but both modes of Impostors were absolutely perfect. This is an LTM that should be permanent. This is, and I get the toxicity behind it. I get it. You're going to hear that in any game, but it happens. But the vast majority of people went on to have a good time in Impostors. They did Among Us better than Among Us did, and that's kind of the point that I was getting across when it comes to transit. They could do what Call of Duty did, but better. Impostors should absolutely be a permanent game mode in there. There is no reason not to have it. It was great for the story. Change the map, whatever you want to do. Impostors is great. Add it back to the game. But another thing that I would like to see, and I've expressed this opinion as well on the channel, is to have an OG mode. Like permanent LTMs, I believe Fortnite should add a no turbo build mode. If the goal was zero build, was to capture the OG feelings of Fortnite, make the game less sweaty, and again, I hate using that word, but that was the point of it. I believe that this would have everybody have that OG feeling for Fortnite again. It would literally put a cap to the amount of builds that you can place in a second. Get rid of the no turbo build. I was incredibly happy when they nerfed it in Season X. People were going nuts, and I was like, guys, I feel like I'm playing OG Fortnite again. I really do. I never understood why people always got so bent out of shape about it. It was crazy to me. It was absolutely crazy to me because Adding it now would do what Zero Build did, but better. Building is what separated Fortnite from other Battle Royales. Building was a mechanic that separated Fortnite from so many other games. So to just remove it, I think it was a little bit too much. I think that you should have no turbo build. You could use Fortnite for like what it was meant to be. You could build forts. And don't get me wrong, this is an LTM, like a permanent limited time mode or a permanent mode separate from the Battle Royale that we see today, because I love the way that builds has progressed. I loved having build fights. I think it's a lot of fun, right? But it would also be fun to like see people making forts again, making houses again, using like little walls for covers, and that's pretty much it, right? I think having a OG mode in Fortnite would benefit it completely. I would go as far to say to get rid of Zero Build for it. I would, but I would keep it. I would keep it if it was up to me. But if you're worrying about the mode, hi, Sunny's back. If you're worrying about taking Zero Build out completely, like that's totally okay in my books too. Like keep it, don't keep it, whatever. I just think there should be an OG mode completely added. But the most important thing, now guys, I would argue that this is the thing that I want most in Fortnite. And I know you guys have heard me say this more than LTMs, more than anything. I want a proximity chat mode. The way that the proximity chat functioned in Impostors was functionally the greatest proximity chat feature that I've ever played in any game. It was perfect. Everything about it was perfect. I have absolutely no critiques. We know Epic Games can do it. We know they've implemented it and it's worked perfectly fine. Why not have it in Battle Royale? If you're worried about kids, if you're worried about people hearing inappropriate things, have a filter for soft people. Have a filter where they don't play that, first of all. They can go play the other mode, but have a filter where it's just like, you won't be able to hear anybody, but if people want to play proximity chat, that'd be perfect. Fortnite would be the perfect game for proximity chat. That's the only reason that I play Warzone, man, is because of proximity chat. Proximity chat literally makes any game better. You ever play a game called Unfortunate Spacemen? I love it just because of proximity chat. Adding proximity chat to games would be perfect. Could you imagine the moments? Could you imagine the clips that would come out from Fortnite having proximity chat? It'd be perfect. Fortnite would be the most untouchable game of all time. And I know Epic Games, like recently at the time of recording this video, they announced their collaboration with a new partner with, it's not coming to me the name off the top of my head, my apologies, but they're verifying people's ages for Creative 2.0. Verify it for Impostors, man. Verify it for proximity chat in Fortnite. That would single-handedly carry Fortnite until the end of time. Proximity chat is something that I've wanted to see in Fortnite before I even knew what proximity chat was. I didn't know what a proximity chat was back in 2018 when I started playing, and I was like, yeah, how cool would that be if they added this kind of feature? It'd be perfect, man. It would be absolutely perfect. But now let's talk about something that is kind of responsible for us not having any modes, that being creative mode. Not being creative mode. I actually believe that Creative 2.0 is progressing nicely, right? I really do. I think it's great. I think it's a great thing for Fortnite. I think it's a great thing for the future. I think everybody, and I made a video talking about this. I'm not diving into it because that's not what the video is about. Everybody is hating on Creative at the time of recording this video because they think it's responsible for the reason why they aren't enjoying Fortnite as much. But that's just couldn't be further from the truth. I know Epic Games themselves could focus a little bit on Creative 2.0, but it's not necessarily, it's not even close to being the reason why you don't feel the same passion for Fortnite that you once did, and that's something that we're going to close out the video for today. But like I mentioned earlier in the video, Discovery could use some work. I don't want to see toilet maps. I don't want to see the tycoon maps. I don't want to see bed wars. I don't want to see the same things constantly over and over again. I don't know necessarily a way to fix that, but something we discussed earlier. Now, something that I do want to see from Creative is, and they've been doing a good job of this recently, when there's an update with a new weapon, when there's an update with anything, add it immediately to Creative. Why are we waiting months? Why is that a thing? That shouldn't be a thing. You have the code for it. I understand I'm not a programmer, but I don't imagine it's going to be that difficult. They need to make that a priority. Let people use it right away. Let people have fun and creative if they want to, right? It would also be nice to have minors be able to publish maps, but I understand that there's issues behind it. Like, why not just have their parents sign off on it? I don't get why that's not possible. Like, there are so many talented people that happen to be underage. I know people like in our community that are so talented too and just can't publish a map because they're underage. I'm a big UFC fan, guys, and the UFC signed a 17-year-old. The Ultimate Fighting Championship, where this guy goes in like a gladiator and gets his face beat down with, like, that's like the most brutal sport that you could possibly have. A 17-year-old needed his parents' permission to sign there. He wanted to fight. They asked his mom, we're good to go. if that could happen, we can get some miners to publish maps, okay? Like, there's, like, just because of their age, man, there are so many talented, there's so many creative people. Why not let them publish their maps? I don't understand. There's got to be a way behind it, right? But talking about creative, we need all of the tools to build pretty much whatever. But the problem is that's coming. I know that Creative 2.0 is the future. They just need to continue working on what they've been working on. They need to continue with the progression that they're making, because creative is honestly just progressing at such a wonderful pace. I love what Creative 2.0 is becoming. I love Unreal Engine Fortnite. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's very, very good for the future of Fortnite. They're going to keep going Battle Royale. They're going to keep going creative. It's going to be Metaverse. It's going to be fantastic. We just need to get those tools a little bit quicker because it's not there yet. Creative is still in its building stages. We'll need years, to be honest with you. That's the reality. But as of right now, I'm very happy with creative, and I'm very happy with the way it's progressing. I've been having fun, a lot of fun with these maps, right? Something that I haven't been having fun with, and it's been a little bit spotty. I want to talk about the Fortnite storyline now. Scrap everything. Scrap everything you're doing, and we have some new information here now that we know that Donald Mustard hasn't been working on the storyline since Chapter 3, Season 2. I get that, okay? I get that. We've talked about it before, but we're talking about, like, how to fix Fortnite, right? I'm not going to talk about Donald Mustard, so I would say to scrap everything and continue the overall storyline, but, like, add a lot of minor stories, things like the Ice King, things like Midas. Guys, you're going to hear it, man. You're going to hear it from me. Like I talked about the Mothership, I'm going to talk about it again. Chapter 2, Season 2 did the Fortnite storyline the best it's ever been. It's ever been. From, like, the little updates that we had in the water, we had to figure out that Midas was building something. We had to figure out about all these little lore characters from the Battle Pass. Deadpool had something to do with it. We had to figure out why things were becoming Ghost and Shadow. We had to figure out from the loading screens what the heck Midas was doing with the device. We had, in the lobby screen, we had the device being built. That storyline was perfect. Absolutely perfect. And I didn't even talk about the water storm. I forgot to talk about the water storm. Guys, that time has passed. I missed the water storm. You know what? Maybe we can cover it in the live event section, okay? We can cover it. I think I got it, okay? So, they need to, with the Fortnite storyline, really capture the Chapter 1 feeling. Honestly, like, and something they did really well with it, was tell the story through loading screens. I absolutely love that. Dissecting loading screens, it gave the Fortnite community something to talk about. It was something that was absolutely perfect to tell the story through the visitor, whether it's Drift and Bright Bomber, things and teasers and things that are coming with the loading screens. I believe that Epic Games really nailed it, and it was such a unique way to tell a story, and it gave a little bit more life to a battle pass that we were really, really missing from this game. It's really tough because there's so many things that they could do, and there's so many things that they got away from, but at the same time, I have a hard time talking about this because I'm like, well, Chapter 1 and 2 did it great, just do that again, but I don't want to just say that. I want to, like, come up with brand new fixes, but what they used to do was just perfect. Like, talk about the Fort Bites. Grabbing all of those together and then unlocking a loading screen that we're still dissecting today. Still taking a look at what did Bunker Jonesy see in the future. Bunker Jonesy was in the secret, it was in the trailer as a secret. That was great. That was great. I loved collecting the 4 bytes. As the season progressed, we found out that there's going to be a monster versus mech battle. Right? Chapter 1, Season 9 did it perfectly. They teased the sword all the way. Like, everything they did, man. I'm not going to sit here and go through every single storyline, but there was so many really, really nice things about it. And something that's really important is the secret skin. I've touched on this a little bit when the Battle Pass in the Battle Pass section, but the secret skin needs to stay secret. It needs to be a storyline heavy character, not Meowskulls, not a collab. Give us something like the Cube Queen. Something that we have the outline of where it's like, you know what, maybe it could be this survey skin, maybe it could be this, maybe it could be that. Maybe, like, with all of this coming, we could just speculate. Like, it gets the Fortnite community talking. It gets people hyped up to see what the secret skin could possibly be. And it needs to be storyline heavy again. Whether it's a Fire King, whether it's a Cube Queen, even Ruin. Even Ruin teasing the Earthquakes. Just not a collab. They really, really nailed what they used to do in the old chapters when it came to the storyline and when it came to secret skins. But it might be too late for this, but have the voice lines be special, like in Chapter 1. I don't know if you can necessarily make these special, because what was so special about it was the voice lines were never heard from, right? And then we found those scientist tapes, and then all of a sudden I was like, what is this? We had to decipher it, we had to figure out what they were saying, and it was very cryptic, right? It wasn't just like telling a story. And don't get me wrong, especially with Agent Jonesy, I really like the reality logs, I really like the voice lines, I like the challenges voice lines, I like what they do. But there was something about the scientist tapes where it was so cryptic, and again, like I just said with Bunker Jonesy, we are still dissecting that today. There are still teasers in there today. The way they handled that was perfectly. It was so confusing at the time, but everybody was constantly talking about it. Everybody was trying to figure out what it meant. People were like, okay, what does muted mean? Why is he talking about being muted like the others? What is the end? You know, we were talking about all of that stuff, and it was perfect. I want to talk about more of that specific stuff when it comes to voice lines and things like that, because I have a whole chapter layout section of the video that I want to do. But another thing that was really nice that sometimes Epic Games used to tell the storyline was really dissecting the lyrics to the Battle Pass songs, like the Cube Queen who's coming, like, now you've seen my return, something like that, you know what I mean? I really enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed diving into like the origin. I like when they tell the story through music, when they tell the story in weird ways, like through loading screens, through music, whatever it may be. It's different from anything that we've ever seen. Now, another thing that they really need to do with the storyline is completely knock it off with crossovers being the main characters. They're guests. Have them as guests. They can help out with the story, whatever. I don't want any collaboration skin being a main character. I loved the Marvel season. I don't want Iron Man as a main character. I want Agent Jonesy and Iron Man to help him. Something along those lines. Just Epic Games, completely knock it off with that. That's not okay. Now, the other thing that we need is quit giving us no conclusions. We have an answer to why this is happening, and it's because Donald Mustard hasn't been working on this, but they've teased things like Midas and Canis returning for way too long, just for it to not happen. Now, I know if Donald Mustard was doing it, he would certainly give us the payoff with that, but you can't keep like teasing stuff. Like, they've been teasing Midas's return for God knows how long now. It's been 2 chapters at least, and we still haven't got him. We just keep getting teasers that Midas is here, but nothing. Absolutely nothing. They need to stop it with that. We're going to talk like a little bit more of the storyline when I have a particular layout for the chapter idea that I have. But before we get into that, I want to talk about live events. Now, this is where I was talking about at the beginning of the video, where I was like, this is obviously not necessarily possible for Epic Games to do. But if I was in charge, if it was my Fortnite, 2 events per season, 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end. Every other season or so, add a Rift Tour. Maybe we get 3. Whether you want to talk about the Zero Crisis finale beginning event actually counting as event is up to you. It's a game mode, whatever. I think it's an event, but 2 per season, 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end, right? We need build up to the event. We need, like I've talked about in this entire video with Chapter 2, Season 2, we need something like Season X. We need something like they used to do in Chapter 1. There was this vault. There were keys to open the vault. We were floating around trying to figure out what was going on, and oh my god, there's a vault. We want to talk about Season X. What the heck is the scientist trying to do? There's these rift beacons. Oh, he's rifting things in. Is he trying to use a rift? I don't really know. What's going on with the device? What the heck is Midas building there? Stark Industries. Obviously, Mr. Stark is trying to build a battle bus, but what could we be using the battle bus for? Give us build up and a payoff for it. A build up and a nice conclusion. Normal storytelling with this stuff. They've lost it a little bit with that, but again, we have the answer to that, so hopefully that picks up back up in Chapter 5, but there is something like I really want to go back into, and I made a whole video talking about this, and the absolute W of the Fortnite community, Aiko on Twitter. Off the top of my head right now, I'm paraphrasing the tweet, but I will do my best to show it. Remember to have it on screen for you to see right now, where he actually gave me the idea, and I never really thought about it until I saw his tweet, where we need to digest live events again. We really need to digest the live events in the sense where there used to be a live event about a week or so in the season, then we'd be here with like the remains of the live event before we move on to the next season. I think the only time where they should be at the actual end of the season is when there's a chapter change. So like the biggest example, one that I've been talking about, and I said I'd be able to fit this in again, is the Water Storm. The Water Storm is some of the most fun that I've ever had playing Fortnite. It was unique. It was only there for a couple days. Sad that it was only there for a couple days, but you get what I mean. Like, we had the device event. We had the flood. We were getting ready for the flood. Agent Jones activated like a new storm. There was Water Storm. It was different. We had gameplay to go along with it, right? We had like this impending doom upon us coming. You want to talk about like, again, Chapter 2, Season 8, right? We had the unvaulting event. The volcano erupted. Tilted Towers is gone. Before we moved on to the new version of Tilted, we had about a week or so, there was lava until the destructions was there. It was like, oh my god, we're actually digesting this live event right now. We're actually walking around where Fortnite Tilted Towers is no more. That's absolutely insane. After the Mech and Singularity event, didn't go to downtime, there was this, at the time, weird energy ball looking thing. Why is that on the map? We were talking, we were digesting it, we were experiencing the aftermath of the live events, it just made the live events that much more memorable, and that made these chapter changes, again, so much more memorable. I think when it comes to a chapter change, they should be every 2 years, right? They should be every single 2 years, and then have a 2-day downtime with a black hole. I think that'd be perfect. I think that's the best way to do it. The only time where you are ending a live event and moving into a new season is when you are changing a chapter. Other than that, give us a live event, have us digest them, have us like live with the consequences for them. It drastically improved Fortnite, and we didn't know how lucky we were. So live events, I miss them, man, but hopefully in Chapter 5 we get some more. Now, there's another thing that I do want to talk about, and it's a little bit underrated. People don't talk about this too much, is I want to talk about the Fortnite comics. Every single comic series, and I know some of them had their fair share of criticisms, but I personally love them. I understand everybody's criticisms of them, though, excuse me. They were fantastic, but they need to be relevant, in my opinion. What I mean by that is they need to just tell the story. And I wanted to point you back to the very first one with the Batman 0.1, where I thought it was perfect. They told a story for a collaboration. It's a very nice way also to bring collaborations into the Fortnite storyline without making them the main characters. We had this brilliantly told story about Batman trying to escape the loop, right? He came in, he was fighting on his own planet, came in, had to figure out where he was resetting his memory, he had to figure out a way outside the loop. The story was fantastic for it, and we got to see it in real time on the map. We got to see the house that Batman was in. We could see like any movement Batman was making, like, and it goes back to those little updates that I was talking about. What happened to that, man? You know, like, I think that the comics need to do it. Just off the top of my head, Iron Man comic book, Iron Man's here. Like, if you want, let's say in the comic book that Iron Man is working with the Foundation and they're dissecting the Visitor's pod, the one that he came to the island with. Again, just off the top of my head, you could see like week by week every single time that we got an actual update. I'm not saying to make an update exclusively for these things, but as the comic books come out, we can see like, oh, there's some tools by this pod, you know, stuff like that. So it would really add to the story a little bit, and I loved the way they did in the Batman the first time. We knew what house on the map that Batman was in. We knew where he was on the map. I thought that was really cool. Another thing that I really loved about them is I loved that they were added an element of maturity to it. This is a huge opportunity for Epic Games to explore the maturity side. Like, we had Fish Stick die, and he was brutally murdered, right? We had the Imagined and Wolverine actually like making love, or I don't remember off the top of my head if they actually ended up making love or if they just kissed or whatever it was, but I like to joke about that. But I thought that was really nice, like, storytelling. I loved that they were really diving into this with Fortnite characters. This is something that we don't necessarily see too much. I love the ruthlessness of Batman. I love that the characters feel real. Comic books are, and you could advertise them as like M for mature. I actually don't know if comics have ratings. The Batman comic was the first comic book that I've ever read in my life. I loved it. This also gives an opportunity for so many storylines on the side. You want to tell like a story about the Ice King, you know, like you could go into the past and tell these stories, but I think it would be best if we had the mainline series of comics that were constantly coming out with like some type of collab character and telling the story of them in this particular season on this particular map. I think that's a perfect way to go about it. And if you want to just keep adding to it, make more exclusive collector comics with keep the rewards in there. You could have like new skins in the item shop for free and have these rewards fairly often, right? I think it'd be really cool to have Fortnite become like a whole comic series that's like exclusive, where it's like they get traded just as much or like collected just as much as regular comics, because honestly, I think comics are really cool. I don't read them myself, but I just like I really appreciate the artwork of things. That's why I love Concept Time so much. That's why I love Fortnite concepts. I really appreciate people's art. That's what I love about comic books. So to have like a collection of like exclusive Fortnite comics and stuff like that, I think would be really cool. But for the comics, man, huge potential with them. Huge potential. I wish they'd come out a little bit quicker. Maybe that's something Donald Mustard could do on the side as he retires, you know what I mean? But speaking of comics, which isn't really speaking of comics, I want to move on to the next part. That being the skins in Fortnite. Now, skins have been increasing and decreasing in quality at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense, but we need a mix of original skins with the collaboration skins. Epic Games has been doing better for that, but they need to, like, we can't just have updates of collab skins anymore. I miss having these skin leaks. One of the greatest things ever, something that I look forward to was brand new update, and we got like, I don't know, I want to say 10 to 20 skin leaks, right? We got a lot of skins back in the day. I would always look forward to iTalk's video, uploading a commentary, going through every skin, hearing his thoughts. It was just like one of those feel-good videos for me. I loved it. I look forward to it, man. I miss iTalk's commentaries, man. That's a conversation for another time. He's such a good YouTuber, man. I love hearing what that guy has to say, but I loved all these skin leaks that we got. And if they want to keep them encrypted, that's fine. Just encrypt the collaborations, but we need more original skins. I understand there's a lot of skins now. You could be running out of ideas, but you never really do. Look at all the survey skins that they constantly come out with. They're not running out of ideas, man. There is no way. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 did it great. Did it perfectly with the way they did it. They mixing in the collaborations. Chapter 2 specifically. We just need more skins in general, man. Have the skins that come out, like in the item shop especially, have the skins in the battle pass fit the season theme. Something that I was talking about earlier. If this is, I understand this is like mixing into the battle pass a little bit, but have the tier 1 skins be upgradable and have them be better quality like they used to be back in the old days. But talking about skins specifically, I do want to transition a little bit into actual collaborations. Now, the collabs have been getting better, but I don't want them to overshadow anything. You know what I mean? The only time that I'm okay with this is this 2-week event that Epic Games has been doing, which has been absolutely fantastic, and we'll talk more about that. I have a whole little section dedicated to that, but that's the only time I'm really okay with Epic Games kind of overshadowing everything with a collab. But I think Fortnite and whatever's new in Fortnite should be there, but have like, yes, the collaborations, like the My Hero Mythic right now, there's just like a little ice wall that you can have, you know, doesn't overshadow anything. I think it's perfect the way they handled that. But to have a whole update where it's just like My Hero Academia for like 2 weeks to a month straight, I wouldn't prefer that we had that. Don't get me wrong, I have fun with it no matter what, but I think there's a better way to do that, to be honest with you. It would also be cool to sometimes being the key word here, have live events. Like the Star Wars one that they try to do, except that one absolutely blew, so make one a little bit better than that. I think that'd be cool to dabble into just a little bit, but I also think that each chapter should have one short collaboration season. Like, just, it's tough to say because I just said I don't want them to overshadow anything, but specifically combine this with equally new things in Fortnite, have a separate battle pass, and have like a new like collab season, Fortnite X this season, you know what I mean? And other than that, all I have to say is quit reskinning stuff. I don't like when they do that. I don't like it when they do that for skins. I don't like it when they do with collaborations, but perhaps I should have just put that in the other skin. But while we're talking about skins, I know it's a little bit of a mess. I'm still in the collaboration section. I should have talked about this earlier, but yeah, no, it fits in collaborations. I love what they're doing when they're combining collaboration skins with original skins, like the Hulk and Jonesy. That's awesome. Bright Bomber and Captain America. Keep that up. Love to see that. Keep that up. But something that they do need to up their game in: holiday and seasonal events. I'm recording this about 2 weeks out of Fortnitemares, so we'll see how this comes. Epic has been dropping the ball completely with holiday updates. For Fortnitemares, I want everything. For Winterfest, I also want everything. We're going to talk about those two specifically. Make each and every single holiday event feel special. Epic Games used to be so good at this. What happened? Why isn't that a thing anymore? It was Valentine's Day. Leading up to Valentine's Day, we got these cool skins. We got like the heart bow and arrow gun that sucked. That was fun. St. Patrick's Day, we always have like green loot. We had that LTM where it was green weapons only. Epic Games used to just put so much effort. The summer event, the 14 days of summer, the old 14 days of summer that everybody was always talking about, right? They used to put so much into their events. I don't know what happened. If there is any type of thing, event, whatever it may be going on, hop on that, Epic Games. I'll be here buying your Valentine's Day skins, okay? I'll be here doing that, but let's talk about these specifically. Fortnitemares. Just talked about this in a video. Put everything back. I want zombies. I want ghouls. I want candy. I want the broomsticks. I want jump scares. Jump scares capture that Halloween feel so much. And guys, the last half of the year is the greatest time to play video games, and specifically, it's been the greatest time to play Fortnite. Fortnite has taken over that with the way that they have captured these holidays. I love Halloween. I love Winterfest. I love Christmas. I love everything about it. So bring back everything, Fortnitemares. Storm King. I want lots of Halloween skins. They used to do it. I love it. Have the concept Royale. People will do this for free if you don't want to pay for it, Epic Games. The community has such fantastic ideas. This should be a thing, not only for holiday events, but if you want to have it, I think if it were up to me, I'd have it all the time. But looking a little bit more realistically here, we need this for Fortnitemares. Look at the great skins that we got last time. Why not Why not? Also talking about Fortnitemares, I want a forest POI with something scary in the POI. I just want to capture the whole feeling of Fortnitemares. I want to capture the Halloween spirit, man. Have fog, have something scary in there chasing after you, like Wolverine when they felt like Slender Man. You remember how scary that was? Remember how fun that was? Remember back in Grim Gables or whatever it was called, where that guy, the Inquisitor, would start screaming at you? More of this. Not just like a little, oh, here's a broomstick, here's some candy on the map. Have decorations on the map like you used to do. Have the inflatables everywhere. Have candy everywhere. That was great. Epic Games used to do so good with Fortnitemares. What happened? I want to play with the ghouls. I loved hunting down my teammates after I died. I loved having zombies flood the map. I loved the jump scares. Playing this game in Halloween time used to be the most fantastic thing in all of gaming. The skins, the zombies, the overall Halloween feeling, yet LTMs to go along with it. I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it. So Fortnitemares really needs a hard comeback. Real does. But what needs an even harder comeback, guys? What needs an even harder comeback is Winterfest. If you don't know me, I'm a big Christmas guy. I love Christmas. November 1st, we have our Christmas tree up, my girl and I. I'm so excited because my first year that I am living with her in a house, and we can actually have like a big Christmas tree, because we were in an apartment and we only had like a smaller side Christmas tree. I'm so excited. I am the biggest Christmas guy. I am the biggest Christmas guy. I love Winterfest. I love playing when it's snowing outside, opening a window. I love sitting down with a hot chocolate, playing some video games. Epic Games used to really, really capture the Christmas feeling. They used to. They did an okay job last year, but nothing like it used to be. Absolutely nothing. Like I just said for Fortnitemares, I want everything back. Everything they've ever done, copy and paste it, keep it there. I want skins. I want Christmas skins because they make the most beautiful Christmas skins. I want Concept Royale. I want the Winterfest cabin to feel good. I want some more stuff to do inside that too. Just, they capture it so beautifully. Even just in the Battle Pass menu when you're just listening to the dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. You know, it was great. I want season themes to be around Winterfest, just like Chapter 1, Season 7. I want snowy weapons. I want the snowball launcher. I want more things like that. I want, on Christmas, to have the full map become like snow. Guys, I remember the day I don't remember what I was doing. I was so busy, but I always try to hop on like one game for Christmas. It is a tradition for my brother and one of my best friends in the whole world. We all three of us hop on and play at least a game at Christmas. Even like our lives are getting a little bit busier now as we are aging. We try to play a game, and Fortnite has been that game these past few years because they have such good events. And now to not have the map again like we used to have it not be all snowy, why not? What happened? I remember the first time that happened, I was actually playing like earlier in the day with my brother and another one of my friends before we actually played with if you watch the channel, it's Nick. We always play on Christmas, and Josh and I were playing with a different person at the beginning of the day, and I didn't know about this in the morning. He's like, you're gonna like this update. I'm like, there was an update, and then the full map was covered in snow, man. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But another thing that was really nice for Winterfest is Sergeant Winter. I thought that was a great addition to it, and most importantly, like I've talked about, even back with the weather, blizzards. Captured the feeling absolutely perfectly to have snow on the map. There was just random snow on the map like falling down regularly, but then the blizzards you could get caught in. It was all icy. You had the POIs with the snow. Chapter 2 Season 1, as much hate as that season gets, their Winterfest knocked it out of the park. That Winterfest specifically ups points on that overall season for me. It was perfect. Everything they've done, just build upon that. Christmas and Halloween are the most fun times to play video games in my opinion. Like I said, man, I love nothing more than sitting back with a hot chocolate, opening up a window, watching the snow fall, playing some video games. I absolutely love doing that, and I want to do it again. I want those feelings to come back. I want to get so excited to play Fortnite on Christmas. And I know you might be thinking that, like, you know what, it's sad, don't get me wrong. Of course, I'm looking forward to all of the Christmas stuff, but it's a tradition Josh, Nick, and I have to at least play a couple games of something. And Fortnite's been that game. Give us that Christmas feeling again, Epic. Give us the holiday spirit again. Now, guys, let's talk about mini events, okay? Let's talk about mini events. These have been absolutely fantastic. Introduced in Chapter 4, once the season comes to a close, we get a little bit of a new battle pass and a mini event. It's been a collaboration. It hasn't been. I think it'd be perfect because I do quite like the collaborations. Like, I loved the Star Wars one. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. I think they should have one season be original theme, like the Most Wanted, and then the next season be a collaboration theme, for example, like Star Wars, like I just said, and then go back to original, and then collab, then original, then collab, and just keep going with that. 2 weeks is perfect for this. Love that there's a new battle pass. It's a nice way for Epic Games to make some extra cash with the V-Bucks too. Everything about this is perfect. Everything about this is an absolute W. I love the mini events. I have no critiques for them. Keep going with that, Epic Games. Absolutely perfect. Now, speaking of Epic Games though, I want to move on to another section, and that is just Epic's involvement. Like Epic's involvement with the game, Epic's involvement with the community, because they used to be a lot more involved than they are now. But I understand they have probably a lot more on their plate to develop, right? But I want them to go all out like they used to, featuring things. I want them to have multiple different contests. I can't think of like contests off the top of my head besides like, hey, you want an emote? Submit it here. Or you want the Concept Royale? Even if that costs Epic Games money, people will do it for free. I would do it for free. I'd throw in an emote for free, right? Why not? You don't even have to pay Epic Games. People be happy to do it. Feature published maps in YouTube videos. Streamers, creators, or like have on the Fortnite channel a random clip of the week, something that was trending, something like that. Just have Epic Games and the team get a little bit more involved with the community. Another thing that they've been getting involved with is I like the fact that locker bundles are coming out at a pretty good pace, but we need more icon skins and icon LTMs. Like, why has it been like every other season maybe that we get an icon series? I mean, for like streamers or like someone really, really huge, you know, so every once in a while we'll see like some like a little bit obscure icon series character come to the game. But I'm talking about like streamers. I'm talking about people like Nick A30 who deserve one. I'm talking about like typical gamer, those guys. Cypher PK is already in the game, but I was thinking about like names off the top of my head. We need more of those, and we need more of their tournaments more often with their LTMs. Those are really fun. It was a great way to get the community in. People were always like that. Those get views, those get clicks. People buy them, man. It's great. So I was talking about it, and I talked about it a couple times earlier. Concept Royale should be every season. In my opinion, every season. I talked about it just being the holiday events, but having a Concept Royale every season, you want people to talk about Fortnite. You want people to keep like, this is a way to do it, man. This is a way to do it. Another thing that I didn't talk about on the map layout because I wanted to leave it for Epic's involvement. The block needs to come back. With Creative 2.0, with how Creative has progressed, having the block on the map, you can make the block twice the size. Epic Games, people will make maps for you, POIs for you, and people will be happy to do so. You want Creative 2.0 to make LTMs for you? You have something amazing that you brought to the game, something so fantastic like the block, and you're not even using it. Creative was in its infancy, and look what people were doing. They were making better POIs than sometimes Epic Games made. I loved the block. I love the idea of somebody like some awesome member from the community getting their own POI on the map because of their hard work, because of the way they designed something. I think that's perfect. And just to have like a fresh mind come into Fortnite map making, I think that'd be great. Have a couple blocks on the map. I think that'd be perfect. That would be so cool. The block needs to return, especially with what we can do in Creative 2.0 right now, especially with the way that Creative has progressed over all these years. We haven't had it since Chapter 1. It's time to bring the block back. The last thing I want from Epic Games, though, is to stop listening to the community so much. Sometimes they bend over and listen to the hive mind because all it takes is for one big streamer to go, I don't know, Epic Games, I think you should make chapters every 4 years. And then just the hive mind will go. Everybody will start talking and everybody will just be like, yeah, you know, now that I think about it, I've always thought it should be 4 years per chapter. It's just like one thing is all it takes. People don't know what they want, and I think that was very evident for things like Season X. Every single, like, people wanted Chapter 2 Season 1. People, do you guys remember that? That boring season? People wanted less map changes. People wanted less updates. People wanted to just explore the game. People wanted a little bit of a more laid-back loot pool. Don't listen to the community. Every single time, they don't know what they want, man. They don't know what they want, and it's been proven time and time again. So that's what I want from Epic and their involvement. I want them to stop listening to the community, and I want all those other things that I just mentioned. But there is one more section that I dedicated to itself, but when I had the idea for this video, they didn't necessarily have this under control, but they've been doing a great job. Epic Games, they need to get leaks under control. They've been doing great. I like Fortnite leaks. I like when there's little stuff like, hey, Epic Games is working on a racing mode. Hey, Epic Games is working on something that appears to be a tactical DMR type weapon, you know? I like leaks like that. What I don't like is entire seasons and entire chapters getting spoiled. We knew what was coming in chapter 5 so long ago. Like, I don't like that. Perhaps the racing was a bad example to use, but it ruins the surprise, man. Leaks have gone way too far, and it's very nice to see that Epic Games has got them under control, so I won't spend too much time on this. They just need to continue to have leaks under control. I don't want seasons spoiled. I don't want live events spoiled. I don't want the storyline spoiled. I don't want the things that I really, really enjoy about Fortnite to be completely spoiled for me. People won't come in. People won't play the game. People won't test the update. So it's very nice that Epic Games has been fixing and handling the Fortnite leaks. They're at a good pace right now. They're back to kind of how they were. I don't mind this. Now, I came up with a specific chapter layout that I have on my screen for you right here. If I were to start a chapter from scratch, what would I do with it? So here's what I would do, okay? I would have 10 2-month-long seasons, not going incredibly deep into that. A 2-day downtime should lead into a new chapter with little hints dropping throughout without the downtime. Do you guys remember when those numbers were coming out? Everybody was sitting down ready for a new number to drop, something like that. 2-day downtime would be perfect for a brand new chapter. Once every couple of years, that'd be great. Throughout the seasons, we see little stories happen with payouts, things like the Ice King storyline, things like Bright Bomber and Drift. We just get nice conclusions to those stories. Also, continuations of the regular storyline, the overall storyline, that being the main focal point, right? We have one story and we're driving it through the entire chapter. We're not just teasing stuff for the sake of teasing stuff. We're actually making progression here. Now, if it was up to me, I would be very, very cryptic with the storyline like Epic used to, and drop little hints and teasers to signal throughout the chapter that we are potentially in a prequel, either that or stuck back in time. I think that would be a fantastic way to, and this is what I really hope for chapter 5 too. I hope that we go back and we end up in like a prequel. So I would be really cryptic, like I just mentioned with Epic Games, and I would just drop these little hints and teasers to not really give away anything, but just have to spark the conversation going a little bit. I don't have anything like how I would do that off the top of my head. I'm not necessarily a very good story writer in that sense, but I like when Epic Games is really, really cryptic, kind of like the scientists that were like going back and looking at all that stuff, right? I miss it, man. I really, really miss it. But after that, we would then have the player base speculating about it like we did with the simulation along with the main story. So that being really, really cryptic is something that would lead to, like we were talking about before chapter 2 season 2, because the only way we can conceptualize us constantly fighting and dying like the Hunger Games all over again is like, what if we were in a simulation? What if there was a higher power? We ended up being right about that, but the point is, there was little tiny hints here and there about it, and then the community was talking. The community was perfect, and that's what I really, really liked about it. So after that, we reach Season X, have a great battle pass, by the way, and then it's everything that I personally would hope it to be, just as chaotic as it was before. But we then, in this Season X, we get confirmation that we are in a prequel, and we have a 2-week event of playing on the OG map before transitioning into the next chapter. This is going to age incredibly terribly if Chapter 4 Season 5 ends up being something to do with the OG map, but this would bring back the nostalgic feelings, along with hopefully having the goal of, well, first of all, a satisfying prequel ending, right? It just where we all started off, right? And then maybe we rip back, I don't know, but the point of it being 2 weeks is because I give it 2 weeks for people to not even get bored of the OG map. They'll realize that it sucked, and this is something that we kind of need to get off our chest at this point. We can't just leave in the past. Give these crybabies their OG map, and then they'll just figure out how much it sucked. But what they're not going to do is they're not just going to go, well, it's the same map, but everybody just sucks. Now, like, dude, I can't even get into that. They won't be happy about it. They won't be happy. But there are, before we continue, and we're going to close out the video soon, guys. It's been a long video. I don't even know how long I've been talking for, but there are 2 little random things that are just in their own section for this video here. I want updates with the devs again. Remember when they used to just make updates like the chairs, like I talked about earlier, or Hut Watch, and they used to make videos talking about their updates and stuff like that. I miss that. I think that's great. I'd like to continue with that. I also have one particular problem with my own locker that I would like to bring to Epic Games' attention, because we're getting the channel huge one day. Epic Games is going to be watching this one day. I would love for them to watch this video. You know the scorecard emote? That's been broken for so long now. I love that emote. There was a thing I always did with my squad, and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna hold up the scorecard emote. If it's a 2, you have to do this, and there'd be a 1 in 10 chance, and then it would like make for some like fantastic things. Or if we couldn't decide like who gets a weapon or something like that, we would go, okay, give us a score, Kyle, because I was the only one with the emote at the time. Somehow it got bugged, and now everybody sees different numbers when your character does this. We need to fix that. They fixed the dice. The one that got released this season, they fixed the dice so everybody sees the same number. I want the scorecard to see the same number, please. Thank you very much, Epic Games. And there was one more thing that I did want to mention when it comes to these random little things is I initially planned, and I owe you guys a sincere apology for this because I appreciate everybody participating. When I had the idea to make this video, I made a little video saying, hey guys, I need your help. Drop some things down below. Give me some things to talk about. I'll feature them in the video. But going back and looking at most of those comments, it's pretty repetitive from what I said here. So I thought it'd be best to leave that out, but I can't thank you enough for helping me make this video. I'm sorry that you wasted your time writing your comments. Like, truthfully, from the bottom of my heart, I just don't think, like, at this point with everything that I've talked about, I don't think it would really benefit adding to the video. So honestly, my apologies that you didn't get your voice out in this video, but I that's something that I love doing. I just feel like I would be really repeating myself in that sense. So my apologies for that. Now, there's one more thing that I want to close out this video with, and it's how to enjoy Fortnite again, because it's not on Epic Games. It really isn't. The game is perfect. The game is one of the greatest games, or it is the greatest game of all time, is Fortnite. And people are constantly talking about it not hitting the same. And this is going to be like, I'm not going to dive too deep into it, okay? Because this is going to be my next big project. I'm going to make it, it's a working title, of course, but it's the real reason why you don't enjoy gaming anymore. It has almost nothing to do with the game. It has to do with you. It has to do with you, and it has to do with your attitude towards the game. So many people go into video games with a negative attitude, and you're going in just looking to shoot yourself in the head. Why would you go into what's the big deal, man? What is the big deal if you go into a video game and you die? What's the big deal if somebody's better than you? All that negative energy really matters, but it's not even just that. You need to fix your life. And I talk about this in the video that I am most proud of that I've ever made. And I was so confident in what I had to say that I handed it off to an editor to hopefully give people a little bit more retention rate. The rising difficulties of living and dating as a gamer. I explore the idea that you guys really need to fix your life. So many people, as time goes on, and look, I'm not coming from a spot where I like exactly have authority to speak on this. My mind is there, my body is not. I'm constantly working to better myself, but my mental brain is there, okay? My mental attitude is here, and I can see what's going on with this world. I understand that there's a problem for me to fix, and people don't understand that there's a problem to fix for them. You need to fix your life. You need to start eating healthy. That'll, first of all, get you in a better mindset. People, as a society, are becoming depressed. Becoming more and more depressed as time goes on, and that's for a multitude of reasons. I could get into that, and I'm going to get into it. And did I mention this? My apologies. My next big project, yes I did. My next big project is going to be the real reason why I don't enjoy gaming anymore. I'm going to break down everything. Society has been getting more and more depressed as time goes on, and that reflects every aspect of your life, including video games. As stupid as that sounds, where it's like, oh, I'm sad, but video games are my outlet. Like, it's not your outlet. It's not your outlet. Your outlet as a man needs to be something physical. You know? You don't take your anger out on the game. You need to. This is something that you're supposed to sit back, have fun, and enjoy yourself. This isn't a proper outlet. You ever realize that you're still angry? You ever realize that? It's because it's not a good outlet. You need an outlet for your testosterone. You need to get out. You need to build something. You need to do something. You need to fix your body. Too many people are sitting here not bettering themselves. People are sad. People are unhealthy. People are depressed. That matters. If it's outside of your regular life, it's going to reflect how you feel about video games. Fortnite isn't the problem. Fortnite is the same game. Fortnite is a better game. Years have been going on, you've been getting older, and you have been getting more sad with life. Fix yourself, do everything you can to fix your life. Quit taking games so seriously, take life seriously, better yourself, eat healthy, stop listening to random opinions on Twitter and think for yourself. Get out of the hive mind, don't be an NPC, don't read something, formulate your own opinion on something. Think before you speak and focus all of your energy on living a happy and healthy life. Go out, go for a run. Run one time every day, run around the block. That's a little mental win for you. That's a little mental win. You will take that positivity into the rest of your life, no matter how bad your life you may be. If you want to enjoy video games so much, if you want to enjoy life, if you want to enjoy every single aspect of your life, you improve it outside of there. I guarantee you, this game that you hate so much, you are going to come back and you are going to have fun. You are going to come back. You are going to have a better attitude coming to the game. And no matter if you die, you're going to realize that it's not a big deal. You're going to realize that there's fun to be had here. There's going to be times where you'll want to hop on. You'll be smiling with your friends again. Fix yourself. Go for a run. Learn a martial art. Eat healthy. You will be shocked at your life changing. You'll be shocked about how much you enjoy these games you claim to not like anymore. These games that you claim aren't the same. No, the game is not the problem. You talk about video games being not the same. You're not the same. You're not the same. Fix yourself. Change your attitude. Instead of getting up every single morning and talking about, like, maybe thinking of like, oh, I don't want to get up, I don't want to go to school, I don't want to work. How about I get to get up, I get to go to work. Start changing the way you think. Start absolutely destroying those thoughts in your mind. You are blessed to live the life that you live. I guarantee you almost everybody watching this video has a healthy, functioning heart, is capable of being healthy. They're capable of getting up and doing what they want. They're capable of moving their people. I guarantee you, if the entire world threw all of their problems into one little bowl, you would be running away with yours so nobody else could take it, because your problems aren't that bad. Change your mindset, go for a run, fix yourself, learn a martial art. You will be shocked at how quickly you enjoy this game, that you continue to constantly talk about it not being the same anymore. The game is the same. You're not the same. And if you think I'm wrong, prove me wrong. Go do it. Go do it for a couple weeks. That's all it'll take. It takes your body 2 weeks to adjust. 3 weeks minimum. Let's give you 1 week of happiness. 2 weeks of pain, 1 week of happiness, and come back and tell me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong at all. If you actually dedicate yourself to one little run, if you actually eat an apple in the morning, you're gonna change your life. It's going to change your life. It's going to be crazy. So if you want to enjoy video games again, if you want to enjoy these games and continue making the memories that you used to make when you were younger, you still can. I still do. And it is just as fun as when I was a kid. It can happen for you too. So guys, with how to enjoy Fortnite again, comes to the final part of the video, that is being the outro. Like I just mentioned, my next big project is going to be all about that. I'm going to really take the time. I'm going to really have a little bit more of a layout for script instead of just bullet points on a screen right here. I really want to just, if possible, I want to help somebody enjoy this game as much as I do. Well, not even just that, just fix their life if anybody's having a problem, you know what I mean? If anybody wants to listen to me, value my opinion. We just started the Clennecting channel, which is all about self-improvement stuff, so if you want to check that out, it's in the description down below. But guys, this has been the complete guide to fixing Fortnite. I almost said Battle Royale, but it's more than just a Battle Royale. It is the perfect game, and this will make it perfect. Guys, let me know what you thought about everything that I talked about down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for being here. If you watched this far into the video, I can't thank you enough. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought about everything else. If you'd like to continue watching the Clen channel, there'll be 2 videos on screen for you to check out right here. I will see you either there or in the next video, guys. Take care.